first, better, best. Let me tell you something. Y'all can never make me hate Kay. I love Kiarna. Love Kiarna. I have an interesting theory about her, which I'll explain in my review. But didn't you love how the irony that Wendy was calling other people out for being fake? Girl.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right. Welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. All right. The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 10, Episode 3. This was a good episode. All right, so we open with a quick scene with Ashley showing her working out. Ashley's body is, come on now, girl. She talks about how she likes being in class settings and it activates something in her. So I could see her doing like spin classes. Isn't she kind of doing that anyway? But it's cool. It's like she's locked into her fitness thing. So you know what? That's pretty dope. We see Stacy and her daughter. Her daughter is running for Miss Third Grade or something. And former Miss USA or somebody was there with her. Really cute, showing her how to walk. Stacy is hilarious. She is such a Barbie doll. She's such a Barbie doll. QVC voice. That shit took me out. Anyway, so the first main event. Okay. So Wendy and Kiana, the Lady K, they meet up over by the water somewhere. I don't know where. It said it. I don't remember. Wendy is wearing this. What's up with her in the V cuts in this episode? I was not feeling that. The color was pretty. It was like this lavender long sleeve, like poofy top with like poofy shorts. Summery. I don't know. It was just a weird cut, and then she has something else on later on where I was like, "Girl, what are you wearing? What are you wearing?" Anyway, so they meet up to talk about the tension between them, and before they even get into it, Kay's like, "First of all, are you going to Preakness?" And Preakness is that big event in Maryland. It's like a horse racing thing, and a bunch of people have parties. They went there in 2018. They actually referenced it. It looks fun. I went to when I'm from California, where we go to the Santa Ana horse trace rack thing one year. I don't know. I'm not even saying it right. It was fun though. We got to dress up. It was fun. Anyway, so Wendy's like, yes, I'm going, and Kay is saying that she's coming up with like a pregame whatever situation. She was hosting something, and then Wendy's like, well, I'm hosting with the First Lady of Maryland. And here's what's funny. This is how you know she's so you might well clearly you're doing this on purpose. You're just an asshole. So she says it in a very condescending tone, and of course Kay catches on to it immediately and was like, okay, you know what? So of course Wendy, I don't why this isn't a competition. You know what? Here's the thing with Wendy. Wendy's been condescending since day one, okay? But for some reason, season one, the audience members, we let that shit go. And then she has like her stands that love the shit out of her, which is fine. I used to really like her. But when she came back in season two with the tits in the ass and her nose was even further in the air, I was like, oh wow, okay. And I peeped the gaslighting, I peeped the mean girl energy. But if you said something about her, you were accused of being colorist. And I was like, you flew under that. You flew under that. Because the irony is everything that everybody was saying about your ass appears to be true. And here you are saying that you don't have an issue with Kay, yet everything about your tone, your energy, your aura is giving issue. And she clearly, I looked her up, she's a Sagittarius. They are very direct. She's confronting it head on. And she's not, we know that Kay is not a moron. You know what I mean? Like she knows that she's not tripping. She knows that what she's feeling is real from you. That's what's crazy to me. And it's crazy to watch it now, seeing Wendy's behavior and seeing what we all know now. Because here's my thing. Yes, she committed insurance fraud. Well, allegedly, whatever. Yeah, it was an insurance company. Okay, some people are like, whatever. That's fine. That's not even it. It's that you perpetuated a fraud, darling. You've been playing, you've been lying. And my thing is, if you do that, you'll do anything. Not you do anything, but it makes me, I have cause for pause of how you are in the rest of your life. And what's funny is you come off fake. We'll get into that later on. But I just wanted to point that out. So anyway, Kay proceeds to point all that out. So she brings up, she was like, well, let's just get past the Preakness stuff. Let's get to the real issue. So she addresses the situation at Ashley's Bloom Ball. She tells Wendy, you were very condescending, dismissive. And Wendy's like, I was having a conversation with Giselle. Now, here's the thing, Kay, your timing was terrible, but you clearly are the type of person where if something's bothering you, you have to address it. I get it. I'm kind of the same way. Um, Not the best timing, but I totally get it. So of course they're flashing back to that whole situation, and Wendy is just like, this is very juvenile to me. And I get it. She's gonna do the whole, this is, I'm above this, I'm above this. You're not above it though, because you're with the shits too. You are. You are. Because she's not making this shit up. She brings up the comment that she brought up to her about, oh, did you do your makeup? Here's my thing with that comment. It's shade. It's shade. Unless you follow it up with something else. Another sentence. If that's the question, that's it. It's shade. How it's shade. And the fact that you're sitting there like trying to make her feel crazy for thinking that it isn't shade is really wild. And it's kind of creepy. And here's the other thing. So Kay, of course, brings up how she feels like the friendship is based around the show. She says it a few times. And here's what's crazy. So they're going back and forth about that. And then Wendy's like, remember last year during my birthday when Ashley had brought up that rumor about you dating a drug dealer? And here's what's so funny. So they show the bean footage, and Kay is like, yeah, it talks about about the whole boyfriend and admitting that she did date one. So it was like, so what was that? And Wendy's like, I came after you and talked to you about the other ladies and told you it was going to be okay. And they show her consoling or whatever. But my whole thing is, as I'm watching this, I was like, so you're confirming what she just said, because she said your friendship in her perspective in regard to you is based all around the show. And the only reference, the only example you could bring up was something that had to do with the show. Just saying. So of course, Kay brings that up. She's like, you know what? The Wendy that I talk to on the phone, the Wendy that I see in person is very different energy, and it aligns with somebody that doesn't like me. She said that last week. She says it again. And what's interesting is Wendy can't handle it because she does that annoying whatever that bullshit is. Whenever she does that, she's guilty. She's guilty. If this was poker, that's her tell. That is her tell. What I love is that Kay is calling her out. Energy is real. And if you feel like someone doesn't like you, but they're telling you opposite of what you're feeling from them, yeah, that's going to make you feel some type of way. Literally. And you're sitting here and you're gaslighting her on national TV. Why would Kay make all this shit up to come for you? Who the fuck is you? I mean, you something now, but girl. Anyway, what's funny is, Kay is like, you know what? You're very immature, because Wendy just keeps laughing at her. And what's funny, Wendy, you did that because you had no argument. You had no argument, Miss 4 Degrees. You went and started cackling like a fucking tweener. So Kay gets up and walks away from her. This one's walking after her, trying to jump on her, laughing still. Okay, girl. Okay. So we go to Angel's house, and we have a cute scene. Not a cute scene, but a good scene with her family, her husband, and I don't know if they were her in-laws or whatever, because her mother had passed. She talks about that. They start talking about what happened at the event and the whole chin check conversation. Angel's stance is, that's my friend of 20 years. I don't believe Kay would say that. because if she did say that, then we definitely need to have a conversation, because that is a very aggressive thing to say in regards to somebody that's your friend. Okay, that's cool. Me personally, who cares? But I understand I'm not Angel, I'm not her. So I understand. And she seems like she's a, she seems like she's a decent friend. So, and you owe anybody respect and a sit down if you feel like if somebody felt like you hurt their feelings. You know what I mean? So it's interesting because I did a lot of word salad there, I'm sorry. But it's interesting because she's telling her husband and her family members how she's not bothered by it, but she's bothered by it. Um, which is fine. But I think what made it worse is when Giselle brought it up. And Giselle's messy ass. She gonna bring some shit up. She gonna bring it up. And I think here's what I think. I think more than anything, I think maybe Angel was embarrassed because Giselle brought it up in front of all the ladies. So can you imagine hearing your friend, you're in a new group of women on a TV show, room full of cameras. The only person you know is your friend of 20 years. And another lady on the show that you barely know is talking about your 20-year friendship and says that your friend of 20 years says she chin checked you. I can understand feeling embarrassed and totally caught off guard by it. So I can understand her energy moving after that. I just think she should have said how she felt. Well, you know what? No, because she said that you can feel a certain way and then you sleep on it and you wake up feeling differently. And she's right. She's right about that. Angel, I like you. I think you fumbled a little bit, but I do like you, and I respect that you stand in your shit. That's why I like Kay. Anyway, so she basically tells them, you know what, I want to have a conversation with her. Okay, cool. Stacy meets up with Jazzy. Remember Jazzy, y'all, from last season, who's marrying that football player who had overlapping relationships and babies? Yeah, her. Hey, Jazzy. Jazzy looked great. Is it me or did her face look different? Titties was sitting at a just fucking attention. Titties was up here. She looked great. Them bitches was like, I was like, damn. I mean, she looked amazing, but her face looked different. Anyway, so in this scene, we learned that her and Stacy actually bonded and became friends over that whole debacle with meeting up with Mia in Miami, where they never actually met up with her, which is kind of funny. And Jazzy, of course, they talk about Stacy and her husband and or her ex husband and getting back together or not getting whatever. We've rehashed it. They together anyway, or maybe they're not. I don't know. Stacy, you link to a lot of folks in the press. I want to know what's real and what isn't. I don't expect you to tell us, but I would like to know. At least not the truth. You ain't gonna tell us the truth. You're gonna play that role. You're gonna play it. Um, so Jazzy is getting married to the football player guy, and I'm curious if they're gonna cover her wedding on the show. It seems like they are, just by the way she was talking about it. She's wearing multiple, I guess, wedding dresses. Talking about it's gonna be a performance. That actually sounds kind of fun. Can I come? Or did it already happen? What's going on? So anyway, in this scene, Stacy's talking about how the ladies are giving her a hard time about her personal life, and then that's when it gets brought up that Giselle has been seen on the streets hanging out with some guy blurred out. Apparently, he's an NFL player. But what's funny is Stacy. This is really silly, low hanging fruit. Giselle can date who she wants. She didn't get on a show with a dude named TJ going through a divorce and she's dating the dude as a friend. She didn't do all that. You did that. That's why she's inquiring about you. And I think Giselle has been on reality television long enough to know that if you want something real, you kind of keep it off camera. So I found this to be kind of just, if this is going to be something that's going to have legs with them, then that's really silly because, girl, please. It's not going to deflect from the fact that you perpetuated a scheme that Todd said. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I fucked that up. But anyway, so they kind of in there cackling about that. It's interesting that Jazzy's back. I hope that she's around more because Jazzy's messy. And it seems like she's going to be hella messy in the next episode. But anyway, So next we meet up with Miss Tia. First of all, I love Tia and I love her British accent. She reminds me like she could be a Doctor Who assistant. I'm just waiting for her to go, all right, Doctor, when next? Anyway, this was a cute scene. A good scene with her and her husband and her kids, her one daughter, her daughter seemed like a lot. Girls seemed like a lot. Shit, I know I was a lot. But this was a good scene. It was a nice peek into their world and the dynamics. I liked it. I liked it. It felt very natural too and genuine. So that was kind of cool. Um, so let the mess commence some more. So Tia, Wendy, Giselle, and Angel all meet at this like not dress shop, but some sort of clothing store. They all get there. Wendy gets there last, um, wearing this. I don't even know how to describe this. It was a white. It looked like a tuxedo jumpsuit, short jumpsuit, but like V cut. Um, it looked absolutely ridiculous. I was like, girl, what are you wearing? The fuck is you wearing? You spent your money, girl. I mean, legs looking amazing. Her legs killed it last week. They killed it again this week. Um, that's probably Wendy's best asset. Physical asset is them legs. The legs in her face. Because Wendy's a very pretty lady too. Very pretty. Um, but this outfit though, I was like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, so Giselle tells the ladies that she wants to plan a trip to the island. I'm gonna fuck this up. Neves. I don't know. I've never heard of it. It's some Caribbean island. I gotta look it up, but it sounds fun. You had me in Caribbean, which means fine ass dark skinned black men. So yay for me. Um, where was it? Where Atlanta went? The men. I was like, God damn the dudes. I was like, yo, Grenada. Oh my God. It's like melting on the couch. Let me stop. Let me stop. So she's talking about that. They get into Angel gets into this is going to be a fun getaway. This is my first time being away from the kids, and she's talking about how she has to pump her milk and stuff. So as we're talking about that, Giselle's like, so she brings up the chin check stuff again. And Angel, this is where you fumble. This is where you fucked up. This is where you fucked up. So she starts going into how it really bothered her. But she was honest. She said, I felt one way. And then I woke up the next morning and, I felt a different way about it. She also implied that Kiarna doubled down on what she said, that she went, or not doubled down, that she doubled back and said that she did not use the word chin check, which we later find out that wasn't necessarily true. Um, I think Angel was really in her feelings. That's what I think. So as she's in her feelings with these group of strangers, she starts to me, I was like, girl, you are saying way too much. So she's like, that would be a real problem because that's a very aggressive word to use with me, your friend of 20 years. And I would think that her using the word like chin check, would be sensitive to what happened to her. It implies, remember when Kiarna got hit in the face? So they're all like, and of course, Wendy's like, are you talking about when she got hit in the head? And she's just like, that wasn't, that's where you fucked up, Angel. You fucked up right there. That's when you fucked up right there, girl. Because you would be a fool to think they weren't going to run that back and tell her what you said. And it was going to be Giselle. And the irony that it wasn't Giselle. Hi, Harriet. That it wasn't Giselle. So anyway, Giselle addresses the Wendy and Kay situation. And Wendy just, I don't understand what her obsession is with having an issue with me. Like, why does she always have to have an issue with me? I hate when people say that. It's so dismissive because they have an issue with you because you're clearly doing something. This girl isn't going to make up problems with your ass. And you just mad because you got called out because you a fake ass friend. Anyway, so it's the day of the Preakness parties. So the first pregame party is at Kay's apartment. I love Kay's condo. Not apartment, condo. Sorry. I live in an apartment. Kay lives in a condo. 100 air, 1,000 air. It depends on the week. It depends what bills have been paid. You never know. Anyway, I keep talking about myself. I'm sorry, y'all. So her condo looked great. She looked great. Can we talk about Kiarna's mom for a second? Her mother is so pretty and young looking. My God, mom's gorgeous. She looks just like her mom. And Greg was there. Hi, Greg. Hey, Greg. I look at him and I'm like, she picked you. I need to stop. I look at him. I just don't think he's handsome. I'm like, Kay's hot and he's not. And I don't like the way he talks to her, but whatever. Anyway, he's not doing that. So we're going to stop. I'm going to stop. So the ladies come in, they come trickling in, and Wendy arrives last. Everybody looked great. Giselle had a lot on. It was giving Carmen Miranda vibes. I fell out because Kay was like, "You got this giant fascinator plus the crinkly hair in this two-piece suit." It was kind of funny. I mean, she looked fine, but yeah, whatever. So Wendy arrives last. Wendy looked good. Wendy looked like a film noir painting. I actually thought she looked great. The black and white works for her. It does. But it's so funny how I noticed she conveniently be arriving last now. She's trying to make an entrance, is she? She making an entrance, Harriet? Are we doing entrances? Is that what we're doing? Because let me tell you something. In Wendy's mind, she was going to eat up this season. And the irony is you did eat up this season, just not in the way that you think. So anyway, the ladies sit down to eat. I fell out. Kay was like, "Thank you guys for breaking in my chairs because no one ever sits here." Her dining room was nice. The table was really pretty. So they're sitting there, and of course Giselle, she goes, "So I wanted to bring something up." She brings up what Angel said at the store, basically, and she's like, "I'm bringing this up because she's saying that you said that you never said you chin checked her, and that makes me out to be a liar, and I'm not a liar." Um, so they reiterate it, and Kay goes, "I apologize. The word made you feel some type of way. Let's be clear. I did say it." Here's what's funny. So the whole time this is going on, Wendy's, the camera like refers to her. I'm just like, wow, you're like an evil Disney queen. Like, man, it's so funny. It's like, it's so weird. It's so weird, right? Oh my God. So what's her face? Angel reiterates again why she felt like she didn't think Kay would use that word. I'm not gonna go into it again, overly aggressive, yada yada. So Kay's like, you know what, you know, you I offended you. You find the word offensive. Received. I'm sorry. I did say it. I'm sorry. They clear it. And then Angel says, and I apologize to you because I don't want you to think I don't ever have your back. I didn't want you to think that I wasn't supporting you. I am your friend and will always support you. So Wendy is like, well, hold on a minute. This wasn't the energy you had at the store the other day. And Giselle's like, yeah. And they all kind of are like, yeah. So she goes, you came off very upset and hurt by what she said. And Angel's like, yes, I did. It's funny because Angel held, even though this did come off super messy, she wasn't lying. She didn't backtrack at all. She was like, no, I did feel this way because of this, this, and this. I mean, it still came off a certain way, but I appreciate the fact that she didn't try to backtrack out of it. She definitely was explaining why she said what she said at the store. But it was wild that Wendy was pointing this out. Giselle agrees with it. Giselle's like, well, I agree with Wendy because your energy is different. It did seem like she was quick to fold in the moment, but whatever. So Wendy goes, you mentioned her incident 2 years ago getting hit in the face. I fell out. Kay was like, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. You could tell she was mad as hell. So they finish all that, and she does tell Angel, I hope that if you have a chat like that with them again, that you don't, basically. And everybody's like, well, if she was chin checked, she was chin checked then. Giselle says that in her confessional, and that's kind of it. So then Angel directs her energy to Wendy and's like, Angel says to Wendy, you know what? I don't like the way you just came at me. You're calling me out for being fake. And she's like, it was not calling me out for being fake, but she was like, I don't like how you took that and tried to like flip that. And Wendy's like, well, I was just saying what you said. But Angel knew what Wendy was doing. But again, unfortunately, Angel, you kind of gave them all this fuel in this scene to run back with all this craziness, to create this. So she kind of says some slick shit too. She's slick with Wendy, and Wendy's like, "Wow, I'm surprised that you would bring this energy on me." And it was funny because they're going back and forth, Kay's like, "Do you like this woman though? Like, do you like this woman?" And she's like, I don't like what you did." And Wendy's like, "Oh, you don't like me?" And she's like, "I don't like what you just did." Um, that was an interesting scene. Greg ends up getting up. "Okay, ladies, all right. I'm glad everybody's getting along." He comes up with all this money, a bunch of 20s. So they get off and they're going to the Preakness. They climb in the Sprinter van, good old Housewives classic, a staple. And they get in the van. Angel in her confessional feels like she's been misunderstood. I would say you probably have, because I feel like you're not articulating yourself. You are articulating yourself, but I feel like you're contradicting yourself when you're articulating yourself, depending on what group you're in. Because Angel or Wendy was right to say that your energy was different with the ladies at the store versus in person at the table. Um, it did, and Giselle kept joking like, "Oh, she's a little scared of Kay." I don't think she's scared of anyone. I just think she's not a confrontational type of lady. And this is reality television. You know what I mean? She's with a group of women who are all seasoned in it. Maybe well, Stacy still got to get more season. Actually, you know what? No, Stacy's season. Stacy know what she's doing. She gonna be all right. She gonna be all right. Um. So Angel, so they decided to do a toast, and everybody's like, "Let's have fun." Even Wendy says that, and so Giselle points out, she's like, "I just want to give a toast to Angel, because you seem like like you were upset, you sad," and she's like, "No, I was just mad. That's different. I was upset, but I was also mad." And this is where she talks about not being understood. And so Kay is like, I know what it's like to be in a group of friends where you're trying to cultivate and you're the new person. So as Kay is talking about this, as I fix that. So as Kay is talking about being in the group and having friends and opening up, that's gonna drive me crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. So Stacy goes, "Well, you had a different energy when you first met me." And Kay's like, "When Stacy, when I met you, I thought you were a totally different person. You've completely changed." So they kind of go into some other stuff, and they're talking about different stuff. And her and Stacy are kind of going back and forth. At one point, Kay spills a little bit of her champagne on her dress, Wendy's ass. So there, she's like, "Do you have is there a napkin?" Kay's they're looking for a napkin, and Wendy's like, "Well, if you're her real friend, if you're her true friend in 20 years, your dress is cotton. Why don't you use it to clean off her dress? My dress is cotton too, but it doesn't reach that long, baby." Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What's funny is, so of course they roll back to Angel saying, "Well, I'm standing up for my friend in 20 years. That's where you messed up though, Angel. You've been saying that quite a few times, and we're only on the third episode. So I think that's why you came off looking crazy in the store, to Wendy's point. But Wendy, why what was that? You're wearing a cotton dress. Like that was ridiculous. That was actually kind of funny because Kay was like, "Mind your business, mind your business." And I don't think she was being serious, but she was like, "Fuck you, Wendy," because Wendy was like, so as they're kind of, I don't think that was serious. I think they were kind of joking back and forth. I think it was nice, nasty. Stacy chimes in and says something referring to Kay's behavior, and Kiana's like, well, maybe I'll just be, I'll just use my QVC voice. So they're going back and forth, and Stacy's like, "Oh, what are you gonna chin check me? I mean, you'd be good at that." What, Stacy? What? So Ashley chimes in. She's like, "That's a low blow. Like that's low." And then she says in the confessional, because I guess they're referring to when Kay was hit in the head. I thought it was funny though, the irony of Ashley saying that somebody said something that was a low blow. Weren't you the one that brought up Juan and Robin's finances your first season? The irony that she said that. I like Ashley. I know a lot of people don't like Ashley. I know she gets on a lot of people's nerves. I don't mind her, but sometimes I'm like, girl, I knew. Anyway, next week is going to be fun. It's going to be messy, and I can't wait. We are only on episode 3. I am here for it. Anyway, I know this review was late, but I'm still trying to get the groove of this new job, and I can't film if I'm not feeling it. If the energy is off, I'm off, and then you guys will be off, and then you'll never watch me again. Anyway, what's today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Eat a taco. Be nice to each other, and I am gonna go return these videotapes.